responsibilities at such a young age really forced her to grow up much quicker than she should have. And it certainly took away a lot of her own needs that she may have had in order to mature.
For the next 15 years, she bounces from job to job and in and out of relationships. Soon, she's raising 3 little ones, ages 10, 8, and 4, all on her own. By her 30s, LaCarla moves to Grand Rapids, Michigan, to be near her family.
So LaCarla's mother fell ill, and her older brother lived in Grand Rapids. He moved her mother to be closer to him, and LaCarla followed.
The struggling mom lives in a modest house and focuses all her attention on maintaining a decent life for her children.
Her kids were her world. So LaCarla was working a bunch of odds and ends jobs, including car detailing and working at a restaurant, anything to put food on the table.
She put the needs of her children before her own needs, which, in effect, made her a very needy person.
And things get worse when a pinched disc in her lower back forces her to quit her jobs and go on disability.
She was scraping by, and she has to live off this fixed income. It makes it even harder for her to survive.
Single moms have it hard. It can be tough with one, but when you have 2 or 3 and you're trying to make it, you have to make everything happen.
She was lonely. She didn't have a man, a boyfriend, a fiance. She was out in the world pretty much by herself. So she's kind of spiraling into this further loneliness and depression.
The only light in LaCarla's life comes from the time she spends with a tight-knit group of women at the local church.
It was about 3 or 4 of them that were friends. They kind of called themselves sisters. They had been friends for years.
And that helped her to have a release from the struggles in her life. She could commune with fellow Christians.
One Sunday, her girlfriend, Takesha Moore, brings her new husband along, 41-year-old Andrew Neal. And even though he's forbidden fruit, LaCarla finds herself drawn to the handsome construction worker.
When LaCarla saw Andrew, she was like, geez, this guy looks good. He is fine. Like, how did Takesha get him? She was definitely a little envious.
He pours it on thick when his wife isn't looking, and LaCarla soaks up every drop.
Andrew liked to be in charge. He liked to be in control. LaCarla was a person who could be manipulated, and Andrew, he saw that.
Andrew made the moves on LaCarla, and they started meeting in secret.
Before long, the two spend every moment they can together.
After putting the needs of her family before her own, really not taking care of herself, LaCarla just didn't really care that this man was married. Now it was her time. It was about herself.
Andrew is upfront and tells her he spent time behind bars.
Actually did 10 years in prison.
But he neglects to get into detail about what landed him there.
He had been previously incarcerated for armed robbery, robbed a bank and put a shotgun to someone's head and made him get in a closet. I mean, he told me all of that.
He hadn't been out that long, I say maybe a year or 2, but he was a charmer. Andrew was able to manipulate women.
He's quick to tell her that he found redemption at church and is even studying to become a deacon.
I believe that he genuinely wanted to do well. He wanted to put his past behind him.
Believing everyone deserves a second chance and drawn by her desires, LaCarla begins an affair with her girlfriend's husband.
Not a lot of men were coming her way. So when she saw Andrew and he showed her a little bit of attention, she jumped at the chance to be with him.
Within weeks, the two are madly in love, and Andrew leaves his wife, stops going to church, and moves in with LaCarla and her kids.
Everybody referred to him as a family. That was their family. It was like they're together.
She was looking for someone to take care of her, someone to take care of her children. So even though she was at risk of losing her friendship with her friend, at this point, she didn't care because he was worth it.
The 35-year-old single mom is grateful to have a man like Andrew in her life. She sees him as the man of her dreams, but he will soon turn into her worst nightmare. After 8 months together, things between the once happy couple start to fall apart.
He never divorced his wife. He was really just like a live-in boyfriend.
And to make matters worse, Andrew suddenly loses his construction job and has to go on unemployment.
He did have some physical problems of blood clots in his legs, and he was laid off.
She's already on disability. Now he's on unemployment. Money was getting tighter and tighter.
They're in bad financial straits, just general bills, I think, with raising kids and electricity and water, and things were piling up. Rent money was coming due.
And LaCarla is really worried that she's going to be put out on the street with her kid.
Andrew assures his girl that he's willing to do whatever it takes to dig them out of this hole.
When you're in a place of desperation, you're not thinking. You're in survival mode.
Then one fall evening, the ex-con has an idea.
Andrew told her that he knew how to get money. He knew a person that would have money.
And he kind of throws out there, I know what I can kill for $10,000.
LaCarla's shocked that Andrew would talk about killing someone, but can't help being curious to know more.
And that's when LaCarla asked him, well, who are you gonna off?
He explains that he's friends with a church member, 35-year-old Mashonda Griffin, who lives just 5 miles away in Wyoming, Michigan.
Mashonda was this wonderful, educated, very talented young lady. She was single, never married, and she was a whiz at finance.
She's the treasurer of the church. She worked for a mortgage company, and she had this cancer foundation.
LaCarla knew Mashonda in passing. She'd seen her at church, but she really didn't know her personally.
The ex-con says he's borrowed money from her before and is certain he'll be able to get 10 grand from her.
The whole idea was that, hey, she's maybe get $10,000. I mean, she's the church treasurer. She's gonna have a big amount of money.
Andrew says that because Mashonda lives alone and is very trusting, she's the perfect target. But since she'll be able to identify him, he'll have no choice. He has to kill her.
I'm just gonna have to do what I have to do.
LaCarla isn't quite sure if her man is serious.
She didn't believe him. She thought maybe he was talking crazy because they were strapped for cash.
She heard the words, but she didn't really process them. I really do believe she just kind of buried her head in the sand, and as long as she didn't acknowledge what was going on, she wasn't responsible for any of it.
3 days later, around 9 p.m., Andrew sets his plan in action. While her children sleep, he asks LaCarla to drive him over to Mashonda's home, and she obeys him without question.
Whether it be she was lovesick, whether she just didn't want to lose a man, she kind of put her normal thought process to the side.
I think when people get put in situations where they're not comfortable, they become desperate, and desperate people do desperate things.
As the car pulls up to Mashonda's house, Andrew gets out. LaCarla heads home and tries not to think about what her boyfriend is about to do.
It seems to me that LaCarla was just having a complete break from reality. She felt that she was separated from this, but by driving him to Mashonda's home, she now became an accomplice, whether she wanted to admit that or not.
Andrew takes a deep breath and knocks on Mashonda's door.
She answered the door. She knew him. We don't have any reason to believe she was afraid of him, and allowed Andrew into the house.
Once inside, he wastes no time. He asks the church treasurer if he can borrow more money. But when Mashonda declines, the ex-con decides it's now or never. When she turns her back, he grabs one of her scarves and slowly comes up behind her.
He surprises her and gets, once you get somebody's windpipe, they can't make a loud noise. She's not gonna be able to yell with the ligature around her neck.
And he strangled her with it. And that wasn't good enough for Andrew. He didn't think she was dead.
So he put a pillow over her face and smothered her to finish her off.
He leaves her lifeless body on the floor of her bedroom and then frantically searches her house.
I think the whole idea was she was the treasurer, so he probably thought she's got some sort of hiding place where she keeps the church money.
He ransacked her place. He looked in every place for this cash.
But there are no hidden stacks of money. All he's able to scrounge up is a purse full of credit cards.
He obviously didn't get the things that he wanted, like money. The only thing he took was her ATM card. And the way she was killed, it was cold and heartless, without any thought.
Determined not to come home empty-handed, he steals his victim's car and then drives to various ATMs around town.
Andrew had apparently decided to attempt to use her debit card to retrieve funds from the bank. He never got any money, though. He never got the pin.
Disappointed, Andrew finally heads back home around 2 in the morning. He parks Mashonda's car a few blocks away, walks to LaCarla's house, and wakes her up. He admits that he did the deed, but didn't get the payout he was hoping for.
LaCarla's mind was racing. She feels protective over Andrew. This is the first guy that is willing to take on all of her baggage. But she also has mixed feelings because this is a murder. And he says, hey, I have these credit cards. I'm gonna fill up our tanks with gas. And LaCarla doesn't ask any questions.
She knows their vehicles are on empty and agrees to help him.
So that speaks to her naivete. That speaks to her willingness to be manipulated, or even her need to have a man in her life.
While her children sleep, the two head out in their own cars.
She's trying to survive, so they go to the gas station. She knew they needed gas. She really didn't care where the cars came from.
With their tanks now full, they return home. But their late-night excursion is not over. Back at the house, Andrew tells his girl where to pick him up and takes off on foot to deal with Mashonda's car.
2, 3 o'clock in the morning, Andrew goes and dumps the car by the cemetery.
He does something to dismantle it to make it appear abandoned, and then leaves it.
LaCarla doesn't say a word as she collects him near the graveyard and drives them home. As the sun rises, LaCarla focuses on making her kids lunches for the day. But before she can fully process the trouble they're in, Andrew bluntly informs her that he's going to Detroit, about 2 hours east, to see his family for the day. And he gives LaCarla the clothes he wore during the crime.
He asked LaCarla to dump his clothes and get rid of them. She had questions about whether she should do it or not, but because of her loyalty to him, she listens to him.
She got rid of the clothes and she put them in a dumpster behind a pizza place.
This was perhaps the perfect opportunity for LaCarla to say, wait a minute, I think I need to go to the police here. She just did not want to lose that relationship.
When Andrew returns later, his anxiety level starts to redline. No one has discovered Mashonda's body yet.
He wanted her found. And he was getting a little anxious, and he was pacing the floor, just waiting to hear something on the news. But the fact that she wasn't located was concerning to him.
The next day, he just can't take it anymore. The ex-con boldly returns to the scene of the crime.
So Andrew arrives at Mashonda's house and peeks in the window and sees that she was still dead. So he goes to a neighbor, asks for a phone to call the police.
When investigators arrive, Andrew is waiting for them.
He thinks in his head, if he discovers the body, he will be the least likely suspect.
The police find Mashonda's lifeless body in the bedroom, surrounded by a chaotic crime scene. They immediately look to Andrew for answers, but he's ready with a story.
He said he was trying to call her. He was trying to borrow some money from her. She wasn't responding, so he just went over there to see if there was anything wrong.
Detectives ask him a few questions about himself. The ex-con is quick to say he's a deacon at his church and he has a family he looks after.
Andrew gave us her information, just as somebody, I think he lived with her. He was giving us his living situation.
Not realizing they're staring at Mashonda's killer, police allow Andrew to leave. Even when Mashonda's car is located at the cemetery, it doesn't give them any clues to her killer. But when detectives dig deeper, they discover that someone tried to use her ATM cards in the early morning hours after her death.
The bank surveillance depicted a black male with a hoodie on his head.
The icing on the cake, they saw Mashonda's car right in back of him.
But the real kicker is when investigators uncover charges on her card from a gas station that night. And when they pull those security tapes, they can't believe their eyes.
We watched LaCarla and Andrew pull up their cars and 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, fill up both their vehicles. So we knew that if they were involved. We didn't know how deep LaCarla went.
4 days after the murder, police bring them both in for questioning. Filled with guilt, Andrew confesses to the murder of Mashonda Griffin. Yet he refuses to turn on his girl.
He was already content with going back to prison, but he was really trying to protect LaCarla. He said, I don't want her involved in this at all.
When it's LaCarla's turn, she plays dumb, until police show her photos of the surveillance video they have, and she confesses.
She broke down, hysterically crying, worrying about her freedom, worrying about her kids.
she knew that the jig was up. She knew that she had to see the reality that she was in deep trouble, and now she had to pay the price.
Andrew Neal and LaCarla McCarty are arrested and charged with the first-degree felony murder of Mashonda Griffin.
If you knowingly help somebody commit a crime, you can be charged just as the principal.
Andrew pleads guilty and is sentenced to life without parole. That spring, LaCarla takes her chances in court. 4 days later, she is found guilty and also sentenced to life without parole. LaCarla McCarty gave up everything that was most precious to her for a chance at true love.